This is the Light Pipe Podcast.
Yes, this is the Light Pipe Podcast. We are with Spruce Don
Give
and
thanks.
Culture Lion.
All right. Let's,
Yeah, we're having a discussion today, and it's all about the state of the Black Union. STOB, hashtag STOB. It's the end of 2023,
mm,
and in the beginning of 2024, the president is going to talk about the state of the Union of the United States, but I think we should talk a little bit about the state of the Black Union. And I got the two wise men. I got two wise men here
Thank you.
that have a
Appreciate
lot
the
to say.
compliment.
You
Appreciate
know,
the compliment.
receive.
so
Wow.
there's a lot of areas that I think affect the state of the Black Union. Um, there's a couple that I had in mind. So, and I'm open to hear any states, any things that affect the state of the Black Union that y'all want to mention. But what about dating? What is the state of Black dating?
Dating.
Is it good? Is it?
Not
Let's
the
talk
best person.
about.
I can. Oh,
Okay, no, go ahead.
I can only speak from my
From what you see
from my
or hear.
perspective, because I've been married for 33 odd years, and it's odd that people say, well, people think, okay, you married, you're marginalized and relegated over here.
Mm,
No, I'm paying attention to what me as a barber. I
right,
pay attention
right.
to what is going on around, because all
Because
of us,
people talk to you.
all of us, yes,
You talk to
and
people.
all of us strive to make sense.
Yeah,
As we say now, make it make sense.
Yeah.
We all strive to make sense of the world
yeah,
around us,
yeah.
and the only thing that is our world is what we are perceiving.
Mm-hmm,
I listen to my clients.
mm-hmm,
I talk to my people who are single. I talk to people who are dating. Rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. I didn't know who he was, but my clients brought him to me because they have questions.
mm-hmm,
They need answers.
mm-hmm.
You know, as far as dating, we ain't even talking about marriage. Nobody asked me about marriage. I find that real interesting, but it's fine. You know what I'm saying? Because I got to maintain my own situation anyway. But dating, first I have to go back to online dating,
Mhm.
because I've had clients that told me that they can't even introduce themselves properly, or push up, as we say, or now they say pull up, you know, on a young lady and try to, state your position and,
Yeah.
hey, I'm interested,
Yeah,
unless you have an online presence,
yeah.
because now they want to see your whole resume based on, and this is like what, 5, 7, 10 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you talking about
These
about
apps now are
the online dating, the dating apps.
Are you talking about dating apps, or are you talking about people requiring to see your social media account when they
On the
date you?
dating
the
app,
dating
on
apps
the
are
as a
The dating
precursor,
apps.
as a
with the
precursor
pages.
to dating you.
Mm.
I need to see that.
Because there's a lot of levels to it. Because the the social media site like Facebook has a dating. I don't know if you saw that. There's a Facebook dating section.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know.
I've heard that.
Yeah,
I've heard it, but I've only heard that recently.
yeah. So
So
and-
that's there, and then the dating itself. Um, like I had a young sister, and she wanted to date, but she wanted to keep it kind of clean.
Mhm.
She didn't want to date and have it lead to sex. She wanted to date and have it just, hey, I want to get acquainted
I've heard
type
that.
of date.
mm,
And she asked me if I had any ideas. And thankfully I had an idea for her, because we was at the beach. And I was like, if I was dating, I would love to rent one of those double bikes
Mhm.
at Virginia Beach, and that's my date. We'll get
Mhm.
something to eat, and then we'll double bike, and then we'll walk along the beach or whatever, and then you can get in your car, you can
Right.
go home,
Right.
we can talk, walk and talk, and acquaint ourselves. You know, my nana told me about courting.
There's the thing.
My nana told me about courting. I was little.
It's,
I said, Nana. She said, we didn't date. I said, Nana, you had a lot of boyfriends. I know you did because you pretty. She said, no. She said, that's not how we did it.
mm-hmm.
You would come to Lily Bell house and you had you had some flowers, and you give the flowers to the mother. You had a handkerchief, you give that to the father.
Yeah.
And you ask if Lily Bell can come on the porch and
Back
set
in
a
family.
spell. And they call Ludi Bell, and Ludi Bell sit on the porch, and the whole family sit on the porch with you. And you sit there and you talk. You don't even hold hands.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interview.
Yes, and that's
because you got serious intention.
That's something I just told people, that dating is a whole new concept. You know, and a lot of times people see it and they're just following a trend or a fashion, but they don't ask themselves, what is it that you're looking for? You know, they just like the concept of dating itself, but what is it that you're looking for? And a lot of people fool themselves, especially, giving advice to women. They're saying, well, I just want to have fun. Well, if that's the case, then you can't change it up if the guy wants to just have fun too.
True.
You can't say a week down the road, well, I think I'm in love now. You're going to switch it up because you have to talk about these things.
Mm.
So I agree. Now, of course, it's a whole different day and time now where we don't have the whole family unit. So courting is not going to be, prominent like how it used to be.
Right.
But you still, whether it's male or female, have to do the interview and really be honest about, I'm going to say rap sheet, even though that's not what it is, but it's your stats.
They call it your body, the body count. That's what they call it now.
Well, not even just that. Like, what
is that what you mean?
I'm saying your resume.
Your resume.
Your resume.
What you mean? That's your body count, ain't it?
No, resume is how much you made.
When you say how much money you make, or what's your intentions, how many children
I'm just
you
I
being,
got an MBA.
I'm on the wrong. I'm on the wrong.
Easy.
I'm talking about
that
your bio.
That should
bio,
eventually,
that's gonna come up
later on. Before,
I don't think
right? But first, it's gonna be, what are your credentials? I got an MBA, I got a BA in science, and Cornell, and
Yeah.
I've actually heard people introduce themselves that way. I said, man, that sounds like an interview.
That's so.
It is.
That's so.
Because it's like, who are you? Because they're looking. People have to be honest.
Who are you based on
your
credentials?
That's shallow.
Well,
that's what's out here.
If you introducing like that, that's shallow.
That's what's out here.
It's shallow in a sense, but actually, you want a partner that can keep up, or
depending
you want a partner
on your intentions
that can meet the requirements that you're looking for.
But should you start that way?
Yeah, because eventually people are dishonest, and that's really what they want.
Coach said, absolutely.
Yes, because I mean, a lot of times you like I've heard.
I feel like there's no connection there with that.
Well, eventually you be like, well, he just got out of jail and he ain't got no job. I'm like, you should know this at first,
But you could ask it soon, but not like, yo, you just got out of jail? You know what I mean? Or how you doing? How many kids you got?
So you saying take the personal approach first?
At least give it a couple of days. You going, if you meet somebody, if you meet somebody out and about, you have to approach them. You have to get the number. You have to have some kind of contact. After the contact, you gotta you get on the phone, or you might even text. Somewhere in that text, in the first couple of days, you could find this stuff out.
It's interesting.
Or even in the meet, like you go for coffee. So what do you do?
There you go. You said, tell me something about yourself.
Yeah, tell me about you. Yeah.
But those are important parts that you really want to know.
Yeah.
But
I think a lot. Well, you're talking really about these ones that want to have fun
because you already like what you see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You all on either side.
Something about that.
You already like what you see.
Yeah.
So you like, all right. I may be looking for, and I'll use myself so this way that delineates anybody trying to say something. When I met my wife, I already liked what I saw. We're men, we're visual. Boom.
I don't
Who
let
is that? You know what
women
I
are
mean?
too.
Yes, yes, they are.
Women are too.
Yes.
I think we all are.
I'm speaking on me.
Right,
I'm
right,
speaking
right.
on me.
Respect.
And I did that. I introduced myself. I began to converse, and she was receptive.
Mm.
The next day, I asked her. We were talking, and I said, "Well, what do you do? What are you into?" And I was already barbering, so I was hoping she interested in something that make more money
Mm. Yeah.
than what I do. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And she said she wanted to be an interior decorator, and I was like, "How much money? How much?" Okay, but I went with her. I didn't go with, "Oh, you need more education." You know what I mean? And she went with me. She didn't go
Yeah.
with, "Okay, well, you need more uh, education. You need to. I need a man who can fulfill these requirements." She never did that, and
So
we worked
See,
it out.
that was honesty too, but like we said, the state of dating too. From what I hear a lot is most people in their state now are delusional. If you take this person, you have to meet them where they're at. You can't just try to change them into whatever. Just like if you buy something out of the store, that is what it is. You know what I'm saying? If you wanted something else, you get that.
Mhm.
But you can't take what you see because you like it and turn it into something else.
You have buyer's
That's
remorse.
I
one of the
think
biggest problems in dating is they're spending so much time trying to change that person.
I don't I respectfully
That happens in
disagree.
marriage too.
In marriages, I think it's still there's some changing happening, but I think it's more people looking for. They're not taking people as they are. They are looking for Mr. or Mrs. Perfect. They're looking for those status things,
Mm.
and I think that's making the state of the black union bad. You know what I mean? Because dating is bad. I think that's just a demerit. I don't want to say the state of the black union is bad, but I think that puts a demerit on it because people are not, like you said, there's not courting anymore.
Mm.
There's not an interest in, like you said, taking the person,
Mm.
you know what I mean, as they are. You took your wife instead of asking her to get more of this.
Right.
They're just trying to have fun, like you said. Um, and therefore, you're trying to get them, you're trying to create this perfect couple or partner.
Based on what standards?
But that's what I'm saying. On the standards that they create in their head,
Mm.
and I think there's never any end to that. That's why you never stop.
The worst
That's why
thing,
people never stop going. You want the masters, or you want this degree, the lawyer. You want 6 foot. You want the big booty.
That's not what
You
the
want
happiness is.
the slim body, and the only thing that's going to happen is you're going to keep on swiping left, swiping left, swiping left.
That's not where the
You know what I
happiness
mean?
is.
Because that goes back to the apps. And I think if you got the app, like if you're using one of the dating sites, yeah, then you could pick through. You could see those things right away.
Right.
But that it has its drawback. I use dating apps too, but I go back and forth. Like
But you know why? You know that you looking for fun.
me.
You're not necessarily hypothetically
Oh, okay,
for conversation's sake. Because
okay,
you'd only
yeah, yeah,
you single.
yeah. But we reasoning.
We reasoning.
all
We
right.
reasoning.
We like piping.
we
So
We like
we
piping.
sending light.
see, but
Yes.
you're sensible also. So
Yeah.
you're rational because not trying to go too far ahead. From the whole dating experience comes children, which is a byproduct of careless fun sometimes.
Yeah.
And most of the time back in the day, the reason they did courting is because you didn't want to do that. You didn't just want to have all these children. What they say outside of wedlock,
Yeah.
or is that the
Yeah.
term? You know, they didn't
Outside
want
of
to.
I
wedlock.
think things are different now.
Yeah.
Well,
I think women and men, maybe men, but more so women, because women are the ones who really determine whether or not you're going to have a child. You know, a
They the
man,
one that determine whether or not you're gonna have sex.
pretty
yes.
much, a man can be careless as he wants, but the woman is the roadblock. She's
She's
the
the
gatekeeper.
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 She's the
She's
gatekeeper.
gonna be the one that's gonna either surrender
Or
and
block.
take the risk, or say no, 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 or she's gonna put all of the safety checks in place. She's always the one that says, "You got any protection?" Blah blah blah. So I don't really like. I see like we don't have like it was when I was coming out of high school in the 70s, where most women, well, I don't say most, but
Well,
a
I'm coming out
lot
of
of
high school
women.
in the 70s.
I'm sorry, I came out of high school in the 90s. My bad.
Man, he threw me.
My
I
bad.
was about to say.
I'm
Oh,
slipping. When I came out of high school in the 90s, a lot of women was walking across the graduation podium with a belly bump.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That's like, that was like every day. That was like so common.
I'm gonna show you the difference between your time and my time. Go ahead.
But now, like, a lot of women are choosing not to have children, and they're being very conscious about it.
well,
So I don't think that they're being that. I don't think there's that kind of, I mean, they want to have fun, but they're also making sure they don't have babies,
but
and I got
the children,
speculations about why
me
that too.
having a chance to talk to a lot of young people, some of them have said because they've seen what happened with their older siblings or even their parents. You know what I'm saying? With that carelessness, somebody had to raise the child. You know, we've also seen a lot of grandmothers or nanas raising the children.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And they're overwhelmed. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of kids that will come up and tell you now, the younger generation, they tell you that they're not getting enough nurturing.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? They're not getting enough love. So that's another byproduct of it, and it creates the streets or social media is raising these kids. So
absolutely.
we're seeing a lot of the dysfunction from that. You know, that whole dating thing, because with the whole courting thing, it was just like the villages. You were building up the village or strengthening ties with neighboring villages and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So you were trying to make a strong family, a strong nation.
Yeah,
You know, like you said. So the State of the Union, there is no union with a lot of it. It's just
yeah,
I'm gonna do me.
yeah,
We get to the social media age where it's
yeah.
all these slogans and these phrases and these memes that carry too much power. Because sometimes these, people are saying stuff that when they really think about it, it doesn't make sense. I'm gonna live in my truth.
Yeah, they're not
But
putting
there's only
those.
truth.
Yeah.
Your truth might not be the truth. So,
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
So
preach.
we're caught in this it is I say social media and all of that is kind of perpetuating more of the dysfunction that we did have. You
Because
know,
those phrases don't get put in context.
yeah. And we're also changing definitions of things to suit us. We're creating our own dictionary, which is very dangerous.
Facts. We're creating our own truth.
Well, the
Yes.
template is the family.
That's why fact doesn't
Family
live
is the
anymore.
template with a father and a mother. The father would be the one who give guidance, and the mother is the one who give nurturing. And thereby, with those ingredients, you have balanced children. Supposedly, that's the template. You know what I mean? I'm I'm a product of having my mother and father together, having my family structure together, brother and sister and myself. And I I know the benefits of that, and I know that there have been also drawbacks. I mean, it's not perfect just because I'll say that
Nothing's
it's
perfect.
not perfect just
Mhm.
because you have your father, your biological father, and your biological mother. It doesn't mean that it's perfect. So I don't want anybody to say, "Oh well, your situation is perfect because dot dot dot." You know, uh, that doesn't mean that you're perfect. That means you have a template that you can work with.
Yeah.
That's all it
Yeah.
means. You know what I
You
mean?
you
Many people's situations were greater or lesser to varying degrees, according to each person. But on my block growing up, we still knew, my generation, slightly older, we still knew who everybody's father was. If they weren't living in the house, they came by. We knew who everybody's father was. Either he lived there or he came sometime. People, father would come through. We playing in the streets. They give us a little quarter, whatever, whatever. Hey, Mr. So and so, thank you so and so. Yo, your daddy, all right, or
mm,
whatever, And then I noticed as things changed, maybe a generation or so, you have it where the father's not in the house. Then you also have it where children don't know who their fathers are. All right, so even if they weren't any fathers in the house, the mother had a working dynamic with uncles, her
Yes.
brothers, right, grandfathers and grandparents, like you said, Coach. There was still a working village dynamic, but now that has deteriorated.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
it's a
So
fact.
now it's like those children, that child, are really on their own, and they're left to devices.
Like Coach just said.
We left to the devices, and just like I said earlier, with the young man who's struggling with what his purpose is.
Yes.
If you spend X amount of time in a virtual world, you're gonna have a hard time translating into what you're supposed to do in a real world, in the reality.
Mm-hmm.
Albeit it's third dimensional and and da da da. You can get into what is reality and what is time and what is this and that and the third. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about children who are able to function and problem solve and still achieve their goals in this reality. But they spending so much time away from. And I tell them, I say, yo, you're in these divisive devices.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
These
Captured by
devices are
captivated.
divisive. You know what I'm saying? So you have to dag on it. You have to affirm, hey, I'm gonna. Back when I was growing up, it was too much television. Our children, black folks, watch the most television, and that was a problem. We don't cut it off. So now it's not even the television. When I was growing up, the television used to cut itself off. 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, there's nothing on.
Right.
Then here come cable. Not only is it on, you got Cinemax, you got topless, you got simulated sex, and da da da. And these things are, because even Long Island was late, because Manhattan, Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, Staten Island, they had cable.
Well, you could always get
Long
cable
Island was
back in the
like,
days if you
yeah,
just
but they pushed
put the
it.
channel between 3 and 2. If you just kind of didn't turn it all the way, you never. Oh, sorry, that was just
Nah.
me. You could get it. What was Playboy? It was like 21, or was it 3? But you could put the TV. I think if I remember correctly, right?
He's always a whiz kid.
Don't quote me on
Oh
this. Don't
man,
blame me.
I'm learning.
But I think HBO went topless after a certain hour, or maybe it turned to Playboy after a certain hour, or maybe Playboy was 21. But you couldn't get it if you didn't have it. But if you put the TV almost there, like you know how we had the things we could turn a knob.
Yeah,
I
but
think everybody knew this, right? You could turn the TV in between, and it would somewhat unscrambled.
I wish I'd have known.
You know what I'm
That's why I
saying?
didn't try
Whiskey, man.
it. I wish I'd have tried
It
it.
was somewhat
Honestly,
unscrambled.
Whiskey,
I
that's
keep it
why
a
you.
buck. I'd have tried it.
Yeah.
But I
I
just
know I
know
wasn't the
that
only one to do that.
I've just seen these little advents
Yeah.
and these little things that come forward as progressive technology
Yeah.
and da da da, and I wonder how progressive it actually is.
It's more of a, it's not,
How much
I wouldn't say it's progressive.
how much damaging it's really doing.
It's a new drug. It's a new,
part of the stimulants that
it's a new
we
stimulant.
require. We
Because
we are
we
overstimulated.
well, if we're the most TV suckers, right? Like you said, our culture is the most TV suckers, but I think America just alone is probably more consuming of
We're the biggest
content,
customers, as they used to say.
right?
The biggest customer.
But
The biggest consumer, absolutely.
if we consuming a stimulant like TV, and that's gonna become we're gonna become numb to it eventually. So we
the
good and
subject
ready.
matter becomes more shocking.
We need a new one.
Subject matter becomes more.
Yeah. We need something
that's-
more continuous, more stimulating. So that's social media. That's the internet. We it's more shocking, it's more stimulating,
immediate,
and
too.
it's more immediate,
It's more
and
immediate.
it's more all the time.
You once said this with music. You know, back in the 70s, they had things that kind of hinted at things, but they just didn't outright say those things.
Right.
You know,
Right.
we knew Rick James and Donna Summers, they were hinting at things,
Right.
but they just didn't outright come out and
They didn't
say
outright
those things.
say
it.
You know,
You're right.
So,
Yeah, we definitely got away from.
They were forced to be creative,
yeah,
and that kind of let you depending on where your maturity was at.
yeah,
You know, and I'll be honest, like everybody knows this song, but Rick James, Mary Jane.
yeah.
When I was in high school, when that joint came out, I didn't know he was talking about
I didn't
marijuana, even though I was using it.
I didn't know either.
Even though I was using it, it took me. I was like, oh, Mary. Oh, because why? We had candy named Mary Jane.
Yeah.
Hmm.
We had candy named Mary Jane. It was like toffee,
so many
like
different,
taffy, like
different.
you know what I'm saying. So yeah, but now people just say whatever.
You just
It's
it doesn't, you know.
and it leaves very little to the imagination.
That's true.
And
So swinging back on dating, is it? What would be a way to wrap up? What would be a way to summarize the status?
Solution oriented.
No, not necessarily solution, but kind of
Okay.
summarize the status of modern dating
I
in the
can't do
black.
that. I can't.
You see,
do
to
that.
summarize it or to make it better, or to summarize it saying how it is now, or
Yeah,
what would make
what
it
is
better?
the status of dating in the black community?
I honestly can't.
I mean, you got your ear to the streets.
I mean, for the ratio,
You guys are both very grassroots people. I know a lot of people would be like, "Oh, y'all don't know everybody," but y'all are in
I find it
deep in the
interesting-
community.
I find it interesting that I have a client, and I'll cut her son's hair. I know she's single,
hmm
and she brings her son to me. Boom, 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 no problem. And then one day she'll just be pregnant, and she have another baby. She's still single. She still does what she does, and you know, me coming from a family template: mother, father, father, mother, children, nana. I'm like, well, where's the dude? Where's the significant other?
Yeah,
And I'm like, I have to prevent myself from applying my experience onto somebody else.
hmm
I'm looking for the significant other, and like you said, it might not be no significant other. They just was looking for
is
a
she
good
saying?
time.
Is she looking for that?
And
Or
when-
she don't care?
Wham, bam, it happened.
When
No judgment.
when you put words on it, see, you can use the word dating, but sometimes it seems more like hunting. You know, when you're out, this one, that one, this. So is it dating or are you hunting? And back in the day, men would do the hunting. Now the roles have flipped where the women are out there hunting.
Mm.
You
Have
know,
that.
and
I feel like some are, but some are not, because I'm like I was saying before. I do both. I do online dating, and I also do regular life. And when I say it like that,
Mm-hmm.
to answer your question, which is better, is because I'll completely shut off. I'll do the online for like a month. But my perspective is I'm gonna see all I'm gonna see within the month. I'm wrong about that, but that's usually how I approach it. I only buy 1 month, and then I'm off. And I usually swear off of it, like I'm never going back again. But after a few months, it's usually about 6 months intervals. I'll go
Okay.
back to it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And it's a lot of women in my bracket. You know, 40 to 60, 40 to 55 that are looking for a relationship. Most of them are looking for a relationship, I would say, as you get closer to 55. You know, as you get down to like mid 40s, it's half and half.
Okay.
You know, they want something significant. They have some good, but there's still a lot of that. I'm everything. I'm this, and you know, like,
That's a
are you
popular
are
that's
you
a
check
popular
check check
thought.
check 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 for
That's a
all of them?
popular
I don't
that's a
care.
popular
Yeah,
thought form.
if you're a good looking woman in your 50s, from what I'm seeing online, and I think the online thing is what brings out this, for what we were talking about earlier. This might trigger people, this might make people mad, but I think it brings out the masculine energy
Mm-hmm.
in a woman,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because it makes you believe you're all that,
Mm-hmm.
and you can pick and choose. But if you're a woman in your 50s and 40s, but in your 50s and you still got some glow to your skin, you still got some shape, you survived your corporate career, so you're at a very high salary. Yeah, you're giving masculine energy hard. That's what I'm seeing. It's like I'm all that. You need to have check, 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 check.
Because they function in that
But
world.
then, question: Are they looking for marriage or a good time, or are they lying to themselves?
I feel like just because you're getting a lot of DMs responding to your question,
Options.
options, direct messages, options,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that you have all that. You know, those are all messages. It doesn't mean, you know, like you said, men are hunters.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you could send out 50 messages in one day, right? As a man, that's just one day. You know what I'm saying? So how does that really translate to a woman being special? Because if 50 men send out 50 messages,
That's just bait.
100 of those could get to you, and you think you're 100 special.
It's
You know what I
also
mean?
bait.
And
Yeah.
it's I never thought a woman got that many, but a woman told me. She said I have like 99 messages. She said I just it's overwhelming. I just
It's
want to
bait.
quit. Yeah, and I've
Mm-hmm.
heard a lot of women tell me they want to quit,
Yeah,
like on
just
these
like you said,
online.
it's fishing. Like
It's fishing.
everybody's throwing the hook
You
out there.
cast a
But this woman
line.
in particular,
You bring it
she
back.
don't let it go to her head. She's like, I don't want it. You know what I mean? She doesn't get like,
So how do you like
and
how
she's
do you
fine too.
navigate with that? How do you find? And I'm a dude who likes something real, and that's not easy to find, even
In this day,
in friendships.
yeah,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Your
yeah,
social relationship.
yeah.
That's not easy. So I'm like, just in terms of dating, because that's what we're talking about. How do you navigate that? Trying to find something real. It's a crapshoot.
It's
That's what, like, even what you say now, like the interview process, right? Let's
Mm.
not even say marriage. The first thing you want is somebody you can actually, let's just even say a good time, not sex or anything, just a good time. Are you qualified for that? Because that person could be like the total opposite of you. Or they can, in their mind, they're a good time, but to you, your version of a good time and their version may be completely different.
yeah,
you know. So the qualifications, and then once you go to marriage, people got to really be honest with themselves. A lot of them aren't qualified.
yeah.
If you got multiple children, whether man or woman,
Mm,
your responsibility is already drawn. So building with the person is kind of taken away. You know, a lot of people would hate to hear that. Like, you know, when they used to say, well, the woman, she's got too many kids or whatever. Our man, your responsibilities are already pulled. So you don't have really time to get to know or build with somebody because your attentions are over here already.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're single or whatsoever, you can say, yeah, I'm single, but no, you don't have the time to focus on that. Or even a person who is working on their own self-development. That's what a lot of people don't realize in the whole dating game. A lot of people are looking for people to complete what they don't have.
Mm.
That's not fair to the other person.
Right.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's one of the biggest problems. You know, I'm not saying that two people can't meet and work on their own self-development.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're tasking that other person to make me happy, they become like a genie.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to rub the bottle.
That would never work.
I want you to pop out, and then when I don't need you, get back in that bottle and get on the show.
Because anybody that can bring happiness to you can also take happiness from you.
Yeah.
So that's why that can't work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you may have to go through a process of elimination to
Yeah.
find that out eventually. But you have to, compatibility is like so key. But it's like, okay, like I said, I come from a family template with my father, mother, my nana, my siblings, myself. And say I meet a woman who there was no father, he was absent. You know, she's not accustomed to the dynamic of the man being in charge. You know, so if a man says something, me myself says something, she like, you know, okay, you said that, but that's not what law is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Just because you said that, you just said some words out your mouth. You know, or what have you. And, you know, I'm not speaking disparagingly. I'm talking about dynamics because all families have a dynamic. Even when you have the same father mother template, because you have stronger women that are, for the most part, in charge. Still got their husband, but she's just a more powerful presence.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the family, and everybody knows that.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be, it's even respected. You know what I mean? But still, if I'm going for their daughter, and I come from a family dynamic where my father was the definitive presence. He was the dominant presence, and everybody listens to him. It still create. That's why I say it's not perfect, just because
it's going to create.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a dynamic.
But it's like you said, it's a template.
It's just a template.
But when you start with a template, you're more likely to succeed along that template.
Yeah, you have something to work off.
Yeah, right. You have something. That's what a template is.
Right.
You can work off it.
Yeah.
Right. If you start with a template that's known to work, that's been used, then you have a higher likelihood of success. When you start with a template that's known to fail.
Well, see,
and people do that.
There's a template that I've heard that's not a template. Let's just see where it goes. You know what I'm saying? That's
right.
That's the worst template ever.
I mean, they have templates in the workplace all the time. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? If you open up Microsoft Word and you want to do a flyer, they have templates.
A whole lot of them.
So that you can start from somewhere. Right. So you can succeed.
What?
So,
yep.
I wanted to just mention how you was talking about before. People having their social media, had to show your social media, or you said your face. You said your dating app, but I was thinking more in terms of one thing that's I seen as popular today is women asking, and I suppose men do it too. When you meet someone or approach someone, people ask to see your social media. I don't know if it's just younger, but people want to vet your social media.
Oh, just your page?
Yeah. Whether it be your Instagram. It's probably your Instagram more often than not.
Wow.
You know, they like, send me your Instagram. Sometimes they don't want to give you the number. They rather just give you the Instagram. Or I
Yeah.
have TikTok.
I mean,
Imagine I
does
don't
that
have a
help?
TikTok.
Does it help? I don't
I,
either.
I don't think it helps
I,
because I'm going to
Okay.
give you a
I don't know if it
situation.
helps, but it's what they want. I've
Okay.
had women ask, but you know what I do? Before you, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like I'm gonna do that, right? But I'm not your follower. You know what I mean? We're not gonna stay there. I'm not sitting there, watching your every movement. If you know what I'm saying? Because we ain't there yet. If I just met you, I'm not gonna be your social media follower. You know what I'm saying? Until we hit it off and we flowing. But it doesn't matter because if we fall off, I'm blocking you or unfollowing you or
Well,
something.
I'm going to give you an example of people really not seeing what's right there when it comes to red flags.
Mm.
Coworker, because a lot of people, for some reason, I get asked a lot of questions. I don't know why. You know, the father figure type. What do you think about this? So, someone's having trouble with their guy. Like, okay, I'm good at reading people. I guess I'm okay. I'm gonna say good,
You're good.
but so they decided to show me his social media, and it was one red flag that came up that they never really thought about. I said, let me show you something. On his front page, he has a girl twerking.
Mm.
That should be a red flag because that means, you know, he's got his family as his friends, and he's not even gonna have a presentation of not being, this type of person. All men like to look at women, but that's your main focus. That's a red flag.
Yeah.
He's out for one thing.
Yeah.
So when you say that he's only focused on this, you should have saw that red flag right there.
Yeah.
That's what he was about.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I think they just want to see your status. Like if you're a nobody, or if you, I really think that's what it is
You mean as
Nobody?
far as the followers, the
in
amount of
their mind.
followers, the amount
Yeah,
of likes and
followers.
attention? Yeah, that is true because it's like a high school thing too. It's like the status of people now, the level of immaturity is on the rise.
Yeah.
It's like what's fun and what's cool, and social media kind of creates that.
Yeah.
Who's the most popular, who has the most like, because you could hear about music artists. Not trying to change the subject, but
Mm.
just you may not know a song from them, but you know all about them.
Right.
Popularity. And that's where even going back to the dating, they really don't know the character, but they've heard so much about this person, or this person names get mentioned so much, so you get caught up in the hype of that person.
Hmm.
Saying, oh, they were cool, everybody likes this person, but how is she or how is he as a person?
Yeah.
How is your interaction with that person? Inside of a relationship, because everybody just chopping it up or talking in a group. That's a different dynamics from a relationship, a team or whatsoever. So,
Mm.
when you jump inside a relationship with this person, I've seen a lot of people say that this person is cool, you know, but once they get into that relationship, the dynamics changes.
Absolutely.
Your interaction is more close, so
Yeah.
the interaction is not good. Just you seeing that person and having a casual conversation is different.
Plus the hunt is over.
Yes.
Once the hunt is over, if it didn't start off in a meaningful way,
Mhm.
things are gonna start. You know what I mean? Because you're not excited no more. You've achieved. The hunt is done. If the man is the hunter, whoever's the hunter, once
Say
the
I'm
hunt
gonna
is,
say something like I'm gonna say this is
go
these are
ahead.
my
Go
thoughts.
ahead. Don't worry about
And
what nobody got to
everybody
say.
have to if you don't have nobody have to agree either. And I know my wife don't agree. But it's not about, you know, because my wife knows that she knows where I am.
It's the preamble,
Mm.
in case she hear this,
Yeah.
which she will.
She's heard it before though. But I question things. I'm a seeker. I don't have everything in terms of knowledge. And the more I learn, the less I know. Right. So that gives me the opportunity to question. And monogamy is a choice, right? polygamy is a choice. Polyandry is a choice. We just touched across these words. But just in terms of biology, when a woman goes through her menopausal stage, the man is still virile. He's still sexually virile. He's still sexually
He may be.
charged. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I'm like, well, in a monogamous relationship, what you supposed to do with that? What is the man supposed to do with that?
Well, the thing about it now is,
and I'm not saying I don't.
Well,
know.
vice versa.
What
if it was vice versa? What is she supposed to do?
That's true. That is true.
Well, here's my working approach. We have to get together and figure out
as a partnership, as a team, as a couple,
what's going to work for us. What can I do? What's going to help you work, and what can you do to help me continue to be who I am?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're going to have to do.
And we can stay together.
If it leaves outside of that, it can be anything.
Right.
It can
so that the two of you could, the couple could stay together.
Yeah.
Because I think it's just a human instinct, a human-based human need. Like, if all your systems are still working and hers are not working, and vice versa, or vice versa, how do you function?
Well, the
body is going to command.
Yes.
Biologically, we're speaking biologically.
Yes, biologically. Yeah. So how does it? So you have to have that communication, or else it leads to so-called cheating.
And that lets you know that sex is not the most important thing in your marriage. I'm talking marriage.
Okay, yeah.
Sex.
So maybe I'm approaching.
It's there. It's there. It's prioritized. It has its priority. But you and your partner is going to have to determine where that priority is and whether or not you two are going to be able to meet each other's criteria.
Right.
So what I'm asking, but it's not the most important thing.
So if it's not most important,
the longer you marry, the more you find out.
Oh yeah, I know it. I believe it.
It ain't the most important thing.
Yeah. The longer you're not married, I think you find out too.
Either way, you're gonna find out.
but find out. The whole thing, if people would do a little more studying on marriage, the marriage of today is not the marriage of 100 years ago.
True that.
Most people don't realize that, when you brought up those words like polygamy and all of those words, they actually exist in other cultures, right?
Right.
But most people don't realize they existed in the United States throughout the native cultures. But it wasn't
culture.
Yeah. So now it wasn't like this thing of like, now most people, they're not really looking for a partner. They're looking for a playmate. So I only want you to play with me. Back then it was more of a purpose to strengthen the community and the village or whatsoever. Now people are actually looking for a playmate. And you use the word marriage and you still, I've actually seen people get divorced because that person's no fun. They didn't do anything wrong.
So you passed the infatuation stage.
Yeah, there's just no fun anymore. It's like a toy. I need a new toy.
Yeah, so
I got a question for you about what you said about how sex doesn't matter as you get more into.
I didn't say it doesn't matter.
Over the time, as
it's not the most. Doesn't matter.
I'm sorry.
I said it's not the most.
Not the most important. Let me get my words right. So when you say
it matters,
yes, and it does matter.
Like sex,
right? But when you put it right, when you put that together,
excuse me,
right? When you put that together with monogamy as a choice, are you saying that when it comes that time when one or the other is not functional, right? Like it was that scenario you were talking about. Does that mean that it's a choice to not go outside the relationship? Or does that mean sex is not the most important? So The non-functional person says, go out and handle your body's business
Hall pass.
and come back home.
Hall pass.
Yes, because sex is not the most important. Which one of those does that
Everything
mean?
is agreeable with two consenting adults.
Okay.
It's all agreeable.
That's the deep thing because it's also perspective. Because now we can talk about
Because
people.
what if your wife is sick? What if I went to church, pardon me, Coach. I went to church with a couple. And the wife, I don't know what she had.
I've heard stories like this before.
She had and he was like a big, kind of macho guy.
Mm-hmm.
And his wife, she was kind of, I don't know what she had, bro. Like, could I do that? Like, could I take care of a sickly wife who I feel as though physically she can't give back to me what I want?
It takes
love her.
It takes a lot of love.
Takes a lot of love. And
sometimes it's not love; it's care.
Which is love, because you care. Yes. You care for someone before you even love them.
True.
An elder told me that joint.
You should.
An elder told me that joint. Because when you say, hey, all right, nice talking to you, take care.
Mm-hmm.
You caring for that person first before you love that person. First you're interested. Then you begin to care, because why? She going to share her situation. And
it might be one before the other, though.
She can confide in you.
You might fall in love before you care. Is it possible?
Well, see the definition, and I agree with you, but is it the love where people say infatuation?
Yeah.
Because infatuation can be like an object.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I own this person.
But,
you know what I mean? Or are you really, you said care?
But I want to stay on this thing that we were just talking about the sick person, like somebody being unable to.
No, it was just something that I had to look at, because my selfish nature had to come into question.
Yeah.
Can I love somebody outside? Can I love you even inside of your illness?
Mm-hmm.
Can I still love you as my wife even inside of your inability to give me pleasure?
Yeah.
Say it what it is.
Yeah.
Inability to have pleasure with you.
Yeah.
Can I still love you? And that was like, I had to look at that. I was young too.
Yeah.
But
I was young looking at this.
Can I say love would be love all the way across the board?
Love is love.
Love is love.
Love
but
is
you have
love.
Dynamics within love.
Absolutely.
So that meaning you could love your brother, but if you're heterosexual, you're not going to have, because you don't agree with that. You see what I'm saying? But it's still the same love. But within that love, you have rules and regulations.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think if you're heterosexual or homosexual, you probably shouldn't love your brother.
Well, I'm not speaking of biological brother. Biological brother. Oh. Your brother.
Okay. That's a next level new kind of sex.
Greek have the we learned it in church. Greek has the 3 kinds of love. You have the Philoleo love, which is Philadelphia. Philoleo. Google it.
Let people look it up.
Philoleo love is the Greeks, and I'm talking about the Greeks.
Right.
So, but
wasn't they a little wild?
These are the templates that I learned in church. Philoleo is brotherly love. That's what we have right here.
Right.
You know what I mean? Masculine respect. I have mutual respect and love for these gentlemen that's before me, and I received the same from these gentlemen that are before me. Philoleo, eros, 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 and that is the root word or the basic word for erotic.
Yes.
Eroticism.
Yes.
That's the more, you know what I mean? When
yes. Everyone, I'm sure, is familiar with that.
Right. And then you
erotic
have
sites.
agape. The agape, that is the love of the divine.
Okay.
Right? Which is all encompassing, and all things are held together in the love of the divine. Right. Everything that we know, see, and experience are held together by God's love. Whichever way you refer to that divine infinite being and that singular consciousness, that's how they do it. So you have the Philoleo, that's your brother, mankind. The eros, which is what you spend with your partner, behind closed doors in the boudoir, and the agape.
Yeah.
So, but it's all love, like you said, Coach
It's
said.
all love.
It's all
It's
love.
all love, but in that, and you have more than those three dynamics because there's micro.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
There's
within each
micro
one,
dynamics
within each one, yeah, you fine tune
Absolutely,
it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
absolutely.
But I've
So
heard stories about, I'm sure there's millions of them where people, their partner has had, some kind of sickness, and maybe it was temporary, maybe it was, terminal. But during the time, the partner ended up, in their mind, cheating, but they had a bodily calling. Calling is not the right word.
urge.
Urge, right?
or needs to be met, if you want to
Right.
put it in a better term.
Trigger. And had they had, I'm just being hypothetical, right? I'm just talking about scenarios.
Conversation.
Right. Had they had this understanding of what monogamy is, maybe it wouldn't have been cheating.
Well,
Like maybe if there was an understanding that you are not able to provide for a partner that is fully functional.
Right.
You know what I mean?
so you're saying in this case that the other partner that wasn't functional did not agree.
That had to be with the case because the partner is saying, and I'm not saying that there's only one story of this. I've heard this many times, where they say he was out cheating while she was going through breast cancer, or
Right.
she was out cheating while he was going through prostate
problems.
cancer,
Right.
and it's like,
Did they know? Because sometimes you find out that
well,
that
they would
person-
find out after that the person was cheating,
No, no.
or even during.
Did-
But I'm thinking, what should a person? I know, yeah, monogamy is a choice, but so what is the person to do? Like, you don't know if your partner's ever gonna come back.
Question though, did that partner actually know? Because sometimes everybody is seeing it and they be like, man, that partner knew the whole time
Knew what?
that the person, the significant other, was out there doing that thing.
Well,
They just not announcing it. Yeah,
I don't
gave him,
think-
as you say, a hall pass.
well,
and,
it's not the relevant. I'm not really asking whether they knew or not, because ultimately they did find out, because they're saying that the partner was cheating, right? They found out that they were cheating, whether they knew the whole time or whatever, how much time. But the point is, what is the partner like?
What is the partner to do?
What is he supposed to do, or she's supposed to do? She's fully functional.
That's where the
That
communication comes
If
in.
they're still coming back, like say they're going out and they're getting their rocks off, just say how whatever, they're getting their rocks off, but they're coming back home and still doing their care duties. They still care for you, still love you, but they got to get it off.
That's
You know
when
what I
the
mean? What
communication comes in, and
is that wrong?
well, wrong is a matter of opinion, and as we
It's
go
wrong
back to
in my house.
culture, yeah, of
Whether
culture.
I agree to it or not, it would be wrong in my house. I already know that.
Yeah, and that's based
But
off of,
I'm cool with it.
Hmm.
I'm cool with it because I know for a fact that anything like that is a deal breaker. And I've been approached and da da da. And I'm sure, she won't say that, but I know what's out here. My wife is attracted to me, so I know she's attracted to someone else.
Facts.
But that's a deal breaker. So my level of commitment is different than that. I really don't have a choice.
Right.
I really now. If she
So
wants, if
so
she
monogamy
said-
is no longer
if
a
she-
choice. You gonna do it or you not?
But I choose.
You gonna do it.
But I choose to state it.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. That's what I'm saying.
see, so
So that
Monogamy.
is my choice.
Right. I'm just saying you have no choice. That you have to be
It's
monogamous.
a choiceless choice.
Right. In your case, it's not a choice. You
It's a
have to
choiceless
be.
choice. But I'm cool with it. You know why I'm cool with it? Because we friends.
Yeah. For sure.
that's
And
a
nobody
foundation.
talks about that.
For sure.
Everybody have they set of outside friends,
For
and
sure.
I got my set of outside friends, and da da, and that's fine. But this person right here has to be my bestie.
For sure.
See, See, I like the word he
Sure.
said because then sometimes people throw around words because I had someone tell me something, they had a friend with benefits. But I said, you're not friends. They said, well, strangers with benefits. I said, that makes no sense. Because a lot of times people love to throw words on it as we go with your own very own dictionary. Yeah, that's what people, you know me. I end up torturing people by saying that. I once had a friend say, well, jail ain't nothing. I said, well, let's change the definition of it since people like to they put you in a cage. They put you in a cage because you couldn't behave. So sometimes when people say that dating, they say, I'm this, I'm that. No, you're a concubine. It could be for a male, you're a play toy. So sometimes when you really hear a different word or a different perspective, it makes people sit and think. And they sit and think because they pause for a second.
Because they haven't heard that word.
Yeah, it's like I
Mhm.
never
They haven't
thought
heard that
about it
word on the
like
regular,
that. Yeah,
on the
Mhm.
walk around.
you know.
So the state of the black dating union, the state of the black union in dating is it's an ongoing thing.
And
I
speaking,
want people to,
there's a bunch of concubines going on, male and female. It's a
yeah,
bunch of play toys. That's what that is.
yeah. That's a everlasting,
Voluntarily.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Voluntarily.
Well, that goes with the level of
It's a choice.
immaturity on society,
It's a
and
choice.
that could possibly be because we're kind of secure. Back when you had the hunter-gatherer society, you had to take care of business. You didn't have time to play around.
Right.
Now
Surviving.
everything is set up. You don't even really have to cook now. We have microwaves.
Hmm.
So you got too much time on your
Too
hands.
much time.
Too much
You know,
time, fill it up.
what they say, what is it? Idle hand, idle
Idle
mind.
mind
This is
is
the
the
devil's
devil's
workshop.
workshop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So them say.
Yeah,
So it's an ongoing conversation about
As long as
the
men and
dating
women
world.
is out here, it's gonna be ongoing.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't expect we was gonna wrap it up. We just giving our
Well, we can't wrap it up. We could wrap up the moment.
well,
You know what I mean? We could wrap up our thoughts.
you could with every conversation it puts thoughts into people's head.
Yeah,
So you could change the course of
food,
somebody's
food for
direction.
thoughts.
yeah.
Yeah, somebody who's looking for direction. And that's not everybody. Most people can say, "I know where I'm going to,"
Mm-hmm.
but then there's always somebody who's looking for direction.
Exactly. Exactly.
So
And that's what we wish to contribute. to.
Yeah, we just hope that
We just wish to contribute. You know what I'm
bounce
saying?
bounce our thoughts out to everybody
Absolutely.
in light.
In life.
In light.